want to take that one? We got a lot of people that are about to fall into that category.
The Simpson proposal, I would be opposed to it. This is not what we want for America, to make those changes to people that have contractually expected to be able to retire at age 65. The companies don't want to be paying a higher premium for that. What we need to do, and I had a conversation with the Heritage Foundation, I wanted to understand how we could balance the situation with the Social Security. And what they said was not put up, everyone talks about using a lockbox, but they said if we could have a firewall around the monies to come in and not allow that money that comes in for Social Security to be used for anything other than Social Security, the Social Security fund would survive for years beyond that. But the problem is this government has an insatiable appetite and keeps taking money away from our Social Security program. That's got to stop. I would support any measure that would provide a firewall to prevent anyone from attacking that money. Thank you.
Mr. Stark. Well, I, for one, received my first Social Security check in about 2 weeks, so I'm very, very well acquainted with the concern in your mind. However, and I promised when I got into this campaign that I would tell the truth, nothing but the truth, and the truth is, I do not personally believe that Social Security is sustainable in its current form, and I fail to see how a tax, and that is all Social Security is right now, it's not a retirement system, it's a tax, can be perpetuated in the state this country is in with an aging population and a shrinking workforce. But the answer is the third rail of politics, and I'll say it right here in front of all of you, is privatization and conversion to a private fund that belongs to the individual retiree. Everyone has a right to their opinion. And I would remind everybody that we're here to listen to the candidates' opinions tonight, and also remind everybody, please don't make a speech when you ask your question. Does anyone else want to take a crack at the Social Security? Ms. Levinson.
By the year 2052, Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid will eat up 100% of the revenues being produced. It would be irresponsible for us to look the other way and not want to solve this problem. By the time my 39-year-old enters retirement, there will be no funds available for him at all. They will, not only will they take 100% of that revenue, that means we will have no other government services, including national security. Those are devastating things to try to face, but those are the realities that we do face. And we're going to have to address the fact that we are living longer.
Just very briefly, those of you who do payroll, who have employees, you know that there is a cutoff for the Social Security that's taken out of payroll checks. I would suggest that you have no limit on that cap and tax everybody. Someone that makes $500,000 a year, you still take Social Security out of their paycheck, and that would probably cover any shortfall.
Folks, I'm not a politician. I just got into this stuff about 3 or 4 months ago. There's no way that I'm going to try to tell you that I'm some sort of expert on Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, cap and trade, health care, on and on. I will tell you, I'm going to become that expert as when we're confronted with certain legislation. I'm going to read the bills, and I'm going to vote the conscience of the people right here. And I can tell you, we do have to address it. That's the key here. We have to address this issue. We just cannot continue to kick that can down the road. We are at the end of the road when it comes to the deficit spending in this country. So just know you're going to have a representative here who's going to support the experts, not folks up here, but the true experts in the field to tell us what needs to be done to cut this deficit, to solve Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, and that's where I'm going to get behind. Thank you.
Thank you, candidates. Next up is George Jones, on deck, Sharon Marshall.
social and financial justice. What does that phrase mean to you, and what place is it in government?
Start came here to answer your questions. I'm going to answer them. It equates to the same thing as redistribution of wealth, and it's not a government function. That's about what he said.
George, that was social and financial justice. I would address that as it relates to the spending that's happening in Washington. That's how I would relate to it, is what we're doing with this massive spending that we're passing debts on to our children to take care of our children and grandchildren. I don't think that's just, I don't think that's appropriate, and that's not what our forefathers thought when they wrote the Constitution. If you read some of the quotes from Franklin and Madison, they'll talk about debt should not occur unless this nation's at war. I think that's where we have to take this spending under control. How many times we've been in talking with anyone from Washington or even from Charleston, we were able to have a balanced budget in West Virginia. We need to have a balanced budget and control the spending in Washington, and I would very much support that opportunity.
I believe this is a narrative that has been prescribed by the liberals over the last 60 years. And if we look at the results of that, we'll see that there has been a deterioration of the family and the coarsening of public life. And to determine that good intentions would go very, very far in that scenario, I think we should not be so observant that that is a fact. We need to balance the budget. It's taking away our liberty. It's taking away our ability to maintain our sovereignty, and it's also taking away our ability to defend ourselves. We need to get back to the basics and balance the budget and pay off the debt. And that's the only way that's going to give us any kind of freedom in our lives.
In my opinion, we need to bring government back to the states. What I would like to see is to have no IRS, no federal income tax, bring all the government entities back to the states and have the states do what they can, leave the military to the federal government, etc., and have the states pay a fee to the federal government for the entities and departments and agencies that are left. That would include any of the social activities that are going on. It would probably include the abortion law. That should be brought back to the states. And this would give the states the opportunity to tax their citizens as they see fit and as the states see fit, and pay a set fee to the federal government, and it would bring it back to the states.
When we read the Constitution, it starts off, we the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and so on. There is some language in there that could allow some social justice. I don't see it that way. The founding fathers didn't see it that way. Okay? I would be in favor of either an amendment or a requirement that legislators cite specifically where they get the power in the Constitution to advance a piece of legislation. And when you do that, then they say, oh, it's to ensure domestic tranquility, or it's to establish justice. But then we have a court, a third part of the system, they can define, yes, that's proper, or no, it's not. And then we'll go back and do the intentional, or the founding fathers' documents and the original intention. So let's tie things to the Constitution, and then we'll get straightened out. Thank you, candidates.